Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here and giving us an opportunity to share stories about migration, how we ended up here in the Midwest and in Northwest Ohio. And for me, a subject that I've been grappling with for a long time is that sense of home, or what does home mean to you, and for future generations. In my case, I think about it differently when I'm looking through the eyes of my children. So I'm going to briefly go through some of these pictures and then kind of tell a story to give you some background and some context. So the photo that you see here is of that's me with my mouth wide open right in the middle there, singing with a grade school choir group in New Delhi, India. As you can see, we've got students from all over the world that were classmates of mine. But before I got here, my journey was definitely multi-generational. And it's a story of movement and of conflict, and that's how I ended up here. So it wouldn't be fair for me to, you know, launch onto my story without sharing that part of me too. My parents were very much very tied to local government. They had many years of service working for local government in their respective countries. I'm an immigrant. My mother was born and raised in Indonesia, and my father was born and raised in the Philippines. They each had very strong ties and were very nationalistic. My grandfather, my dad's father, worked or served as the part of the U.S. Armed Forces in the Far East. And then my dad was raised with the backdrop of the Second World War. So a lot of those conflicts kind of colored many of the decisions that they made. And I believe his choice to enter the diplomatic service. So he was in the Philippine Foreign Service and he was there until his death for over 30, close to 40 years. And we moved around from country to country. So we lived in New Delhi, India, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where my one brother was born, in Tamuning, Guam, Ankara, Turkey, and Havana, Cuba. And all of these places gave me a sense of home and belonging. So I think it's very difficult for me to say that well, now I consider myself a Midwesterner, but that I'm solely Filipino or that I'm solely Indonesian because all of these places leave a little bit of it in your heart. So that's the background. That's how I ended up, in India. And then the next picture, and talking about intersectionality, this was taken probably about 11 years ago now, and this is with my family in the Philippines. But growing up, in a multicultural household where, my parents were Indonesian and Filipino, my siblings ended up migrating to Australia and going to school there. And I think part of that decision, my father passed away when we were all still going to school. So that kind of trauma influenced our decision to try to make a life for ourselves wherever we were going to school. So my brother's wife, as she is originally from Vietnam, and her family actually, her parents were refugees and ended up building a life in Australia. And my brother ended up meeting her at work. And that's how we have this mishmash of different cultures now in the Philippines. So, all of that background, I mean, it developed a love, an appreciation, and a humility for your own journey, your own culture, and for getting to know yourself more too. So, being able to experience all these different cultures and find out that there's certain ways of believing, there are different ways of thinking, and there are different ways of existing, and then appreciating all of that, I think, is important to my family's journey. I try to carry that on with my children. So the picture that you see here, the two smallest kids, those are my kids up front. But we also host international students. So the American Cultural Exchange Service, we hosted two students from Bahrain, and we went to a Yemeni restaurant in Dearborn. And I think it's important for me, especially for my children who are growing up here in the United States, who are multiracial and who have multicultural backgrounds, to develop an understanding of all the different parts of this country that just make it so incredibly unique, and how incredibly fortunate we are to be able to experience the whole world here. So I imagine they're going to be grappling with or what their sense of identity is and what their sense of home is, and it's okay not to have answers to any of that too. Um, so with that background, has anybody here heard of Welcome Toledo Lucas County? Raise your hands if you do. Okay, that's wonderful. So Welcome Toledo Lucas County is an initiative that's housed here at the public library, but it includes both the city of Toledo and Lucas County, and probably 20 or so immigrant and refugee serving organizations. So we're very fortunate that it's housed here at the library. It was started by Lucas County government. And I coordinate that initiative through New American Services. And again, we're very fortunate that we're able to work together with other immigrant and refugee serving organizations, so that everyone's voices are heard. And especially now in this climate, it's been really crucial. Our work, unfortunately, has been really crucial during this time. So one of the ways that we reach out to our community is through highlighting different cultures. So that photo that you see here is together with this was a partnership, and it included the Believe Center, and we were highlighting an event for Welcoming Week. Um, Ballet Folklorico was providing the entertainment, and we went in front of WTOL to highlight all the different events that were happening, including the celebratory event. And here's the photo of the event that was held here. We had a celebration of music, of culture, and all the things that really make Toledo and Lucas County a wonderful place to live. So that's one way that we reach the community, but we also talk about some of the hard questions around immigration. Um, so next month, June, is Immigrant Heritage Month. June is Immigrant Heritage Month, and if you see this yellow card right here, it says you are welcome here. There's a QR code that's going to take you to the New American Services page. And from there, under Programs and Services, you're going to see a list of ways that we try to connect with the community to tell the story about immigration and all the different cultures that are here. One of them on June 9th is an Ask Us About the U.S. Immigration System. We're going to have a panel discussion with several immigration attorneys, one of which is the director of the UT Immigrant Justice Clinic. Someone else is also an immigration attorney, and she's the Chief People and Culture Officer for the Sisters of St. Francis. We also have the head of an immigrant serving organization that's going to be moderating, and someone who founded the New African Immigrants Commission. So please share the information about that event, and anybody that has some really tough questions around immigration, we invite them to come and attend that event. But we do other lighthearted things as well that spark an easier conversation about immigration. So on June 27, we're going to be hosting a cultural cooking series, and it's going to be a taste of Vietnam. There will be samples though, so register early because it's limited to 50 seats. But those are some of the ways that we try to connect with the community, and I feel so honored and privileged to be able to celebrate what I experienced in my background, and to carry that on here through my work. So thank you so much for your time.